We're kind of jumping right in here. This is this week's episode of Lancaster Connects. We're totally counting on you, our watcher and listener, knowing who we are, what we do. So I'm just going to go in. Yeah, I'm going to go into that for a little bit here. Thanks for watching our show, Lancaster Connects, the show about small business success and small charity success. Right here in Lancaster, we kind of talk about the story of David versus Goliath, the big versus small, the battle on Main Street. And I was talking with our guest pre-show about the tear we're on, highlighting local charities. I think, Ben, we agreed we're 6 weeks in.
Yeah,
no end in sight, which is great.
Since the beginning of December, there's no shortage of charities and nonprofits to highlight. And, we'd like to have them all on. Yep.
So on that note, if you'd like to be a guest on our show, whether you're a small business or a charity, go to lancasterconnects.com/guest and fill out the form, and we'll connect and get you on the show at a future date. We do prizes here on the show, right, Ben?
We do. Well, people are already competing to get those prizes. Anybody who comments on the show, good morning, Beth, or good afternoon, Beth. We are recording this live. It is 2:05 Monday afternoon. So any comments on this show get entered into the Prizelator. And the Prizelator is this magical thing that we show at the end of the episode where we pick one winner to win a $25 restaurant gift card to a local restaurant in Lancaster County. So comment, hit the love button, hit the like button. Love button helps us out more than the like button, according to Zucker World, right? The metaverse. But yeah, comment away. Tell us, give us some feedback. Talk about Aaron Zakers, our guest coming up. But any comments get entered into the prize for a $25 restaurant gift card.
That's right. And should you be fortunate enough to win the prize, when you come in to pick up your prize, you should pencil in an extra 15 minutes to kick back and relax in our wonderful massage chairs. They are simply sublime. After a long trip in the airplane this weekend, I got home, driving home from Baltimore Airport, and sat immediately in my chair at home. So they are amazing. We love them. We love our chair at home a whole lot. I've actually had to devise a system to keep the cat out of sitting on the chair, because the cat likes the comforting cradle of the chair, just like it cradles your spine and then massages it. The cat doesn't get massages though; just sits in it, which
I got you.
Which vexes me terribly.
What is your device to keep the cat out? Is it like a net?
No, it's two of the shipping boxes that were part of the whole packaging that it came in. So they're kind of shaped like triangle. I'm not sure how I'm making a triangle shape here for you on my screen, but it's like a triangle, and I just kind of stack them, and the cat's afraid of the boxes, so the cat doesn't jump on the chair.
There you go. Whatever works.
It works.
Now, do the boys get in there? I mean, are the boys allowed in there? Or is that okay? Right.
Yeah, they use it. Sometimes I have to boot them out.
Right.
Yep. So Ben, your weekend was pretty boring.
It kind of was. Just hung out at the house, did some things around the house, kind of got caught up, played some games with the other kid who wasn't in quarantine, had some snow cleanup. What day was that? Was that Friday morning, Saturday morning? I don't know. The days are all like blended together. I at least know it's Monday, and I was able to make it here. So that's good. But no, I didn't do a whole lot of anything. It was kind of a boring weekend, but sometimes you kind of need those, relax a little bit. So
yeah, I dodged the snow. I've been good about the first snows for a couple of years.
Yeah.
A couple of times. I remember Ben and I were on an airplane. We were the last flight out of Baltimore to Las Vegas. Like literally the snowstorm was biting at the tail end of the jet. Everybody had gone home, and we're like, let's get this plane rolling. And we were the last flight out, and the state of Maryland and Pennsylvania shut down for a couple of days.
That was the I think the snowstorm that there was like 24 inches of snow, and we're flying towards the desert.
Adios.
See ya.
Shovels are over there.
Yeah.
Salt's over there. Yep. That is right, Mr. Camp or Mrs. Camp or JM Camp.
Yep.
We do sell those chairs at Gardner's, and we'll let you demo them. You can come on in, try it out for 15 minutes. They really are truly incredible chairs. We've dabbled in this offering a number of times, but hands down, the quality of these chairs is just really incredible. So, suggest you come on in, try them out.
Yeah, Beth actually on the chat here gave them 4 hearts. She said, "OMG, there you go." Yeah, she knows without even trying them.
Yeah, then you know they're good. But yeah, so this airplane ride, I was down in Texas for a business leadership networking event with other peers, and was very good about how the stuff I bring back to help lead the team here. Got to meet the fittest man in the NFL at one point, Steve Weatherford, who was a punter, a number of teams, notably the Giants. So being the consummate Eagles fan, I had to, do what Eagles fans do. But did thank him he was on the team that beat Brady in 2012, came back, on the wild card 8-8 New York Giants team. And
was that the helmet catch year?
I don't know.
No, that could have been the other one.
Punters don't usually catch footballs, but Mr. Baseball. But he was doing such a good job. Like they were saying, he could have been the MVP of the game. Way he was pinning the Patriots back time after time. But yeah, really cool dude. Got to wear a Super Bowl ring for a little photo, and that was pretty neat. And
I saw you flew home Southwest first class.
Southwest first class. Yeah, I've got a whole Southwest system. So hit me up if you want tips on flying Southwest, people. I know how to work it. I know all their lingo. I know how to ask the ticket agents. I even know the phrases when they're stressed out, how to make them happy. So I've got that system worked out big time. Yep. I get people who I don't know to partake in my shenanigans to achieve Southwest first class. I can give you all the tips.
It's all good as long as you're not knocking kids over with your luggage in line, right?
Right. I'm checking the clock for our tomfoolery moments. Should I tell the story? We have by my count, we have a minute or two to tell the story. Should I share it?
Please.
So there I am with Steve Weatherford on the screen, who was like, I've been painstakingly working in fits and spurts on focusing on diet and exercise. And so me standing next to him doesn't make me feel any better, but it does challenge me to look better.
That man has legs for arms. My goodness.
I think somebody commented he skipped leg day, and I just didn't even acknowledge it because if you just look on the guy's Instagram, I mean, the guy's just, he is very, very in shape. The title of fittest dude in the NFL is very appropriate.
Yep.
Yeah, very appropriate. So anyway, I knock kids out with luggage. So Ben and I are, there we go, Southwest first class right there. So Ben and I are in the airport traveling. I think it was the trip where we almost got snowed out.
It could have been.
It could have, it was no doubt on the way to Las Vegas. So my suitcase, which sadly I've had this suitcase for 15 years or so. It served me well. I think it's on its last trip. I have one more zipper pull that's attached. All the other pulls are gone. This same suitcase, we're just through security, and it has a propensity to tip over because when it's full.
Tip forward,
yeah. So it's sitting there like this at the end of the line. And this cute little kid comes trotting along, doing cute little kid things, and the suitcase just does this slow, and then wham, wipes the kid out.
Knocked
him right over. Yeah.
He was
Here
fine.
we are talking
he was
about
good.
knocking kids over. Our guests are leaving. I hope they're still backstage.
The kid was fine. No kids were hard.
The child was fine. The child was fine. I think I went to the little food snack gift store and bought a stuffed toy, and all was good. But yeah, it was a moment. I've had many moments in the air. So at any rate, I think I think the schedule for tomfoolery from Ben and
It's
Jeff
over.
is now over. So if you like this, if you're down with our hijinks, you can catch the show on YouTube, on Facebook, on the Gardeners channels, on the Lancaster Connect channels, on those platforms. We're like everywhere. You can even get us on your smart TV because you can bring us up on YouTube on there, which is pretty cool. But if you just want the straight shot, you just go to lancasterconnects.com/episodes. You'll get this episode and all the past episodes. So pretty simple
Easy
stuff.
peasy.
Next week, we've got Rod Redkay from Real Life Community Services coming up. But right now, Ben, why don't you introduce our guests?
So no secret, we said it earlier. We've got Aaron's Acres on the show. We'd like to welcome Risa Paskoff and Kate Mullen. Risa is the executive director of Aaron's Acres, and Kate is the director of development and community relations at Aaron's Acres. Ladies, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Hi, thanks for having us.
I didn't scare you off with knocking down kids, did I?
We were thinking of leaving, but we figured we should stay.
Okay, good. It's not like a habitual thing. It's just one of those things. Like you saw it happening, and oh no, it's going to happen. Yep,
Nothing you can do at that point.
And just head over feet, wiped out.
Right.
Well, listen, ladies, we are excited to share all the great work that you're doing to deliver amazing experiences at the camps that you hold for both kids and adults with disabilities. So we'll bring you back on here momentarily. Got to pay the bills a little bit, as we like to say, and we'll have you back on.
Great. Thank you.
All right.
Should I do a testimonial?
Yeah, I was reviewing. I put a little challenge out to our team to get more of them because they're creeping up. We're coming up on 300 5-star reviews. And of course, our handwritten ones, which we fill books with, are great. We got more of those this week that came in the mail. So you can see all of our reviews at the site there on your screen, gardenersmattressandmore.com/reviews. But Ben, go ahead and read your testimonial.
Yeah, this came in from a customer from last week. His name is Scott. Would highly recommend Gardeners. Just had her mattress delivered and the entire experience was fantastic. The showroom was indeed very low pressure, referencing the fact that he had that inclination when he came in. So his experience with us confirmed that. So it was indeed low pressure, but extremely helpful. Andy was knowledgeable and was able to guide us through the various options and help us select a new mattress. The mattress we chose was in stock, which is the one thing I want to highlight as part of this testimonial. And a delivery slot was available the next day. The team that delivered the mattress and removed the old one was also very friendly and super careful. Truly a great experience end to end. I don't think we could have written it any better, Jeff. But Scott, thank you for your business and your experience.
Was this the one I wrote? No, just kidding.
Yeah, right. So it takes a lot of time, writing out all those 5-star reviews. No, we don't have all of our mattresses in stock, but we have a good number of mattresses in stock. In fact, more than we've ever had in our history. We have a whole new trailer attached to our warehouse, 53-foot trailer, filled with mattresses that are now in stock and ready to deliver. And while we can't always deliver the next day, in fact, this case, we had a cancellation that happened in the morning, for the next day. And we were able to fill that slot with the sale that happened later that afternoon. And there we go. Doesn't always happen that way, but we'll do our best to get any mattress sold out as quickly as we can. So, we can do quick deliveries for guest bedrooms and, of course, master bedrooms, which this was for Scott. So, again, thanks, Scott, for your business and keep passing the word along.
Yep, very good. And please remember to post your comments here in Facebook or on YouTube, wherever you're watching in those channels. That'll get you into the $25 restaurant gift card drawing that will fire up with the prize-elator at the end of the show. I mean, and seriously, if you're not for Team Jeff, I mean, are you really even watching a podcast?
I didn't bother to come there today, so have to be Team Jeff today.
Yeah. No, you can vote for Ben. I mean, it's okay. Feel like being second. So my sleep better tip comes from this, not in the Sleep Better book. I'm thinking maybe it's time to update this, but all the same, still chock full of amazing Sleep Better tips. So you can get your own copy. gardenersmattressandmore.com/sleep-better is the site to go to. But the tip I have is appropriate for me coming off of my travel schedule. I actually have a lot of travel in the upcoming weeks. So keeping the same time you wake up and go to bed is tremendously beneficial. But you might not know that sleeping in 1 hour past what you would normally count as your wake up time equals 3 hours of jet lag. So it's literally like flying out to the West Coast. If you normally get up at 6, but you decide to sleep in until 7, or 7 and you decide to sleep in until 8, that's equivalent to 3 hours of kind of jet lag on your mind. So, and that's for every 1 hour. So if you decide to really sleep in, like on a Saturday morning, you're really throwing yourself way off. So developing a healthy sleep routine, going to bed at the same time, waking up at the same time is really, really important. Really helps. I know when I travel, it always takes me, if it's a long trip, it takes me a little while to get into the right routine of waking up at the right time in whatever new time zone I'm in. But on the short ones, I just, this one was Central Time, so I'm just getting up an hour earlier because I find it's just easier to stay on that schedule. But you'll establish that body clock, and you will sleep far more healthier, feel far more refreshed. All right. So that is the Sleep Better tip. If you want more great tips like that, go to gardenersmattressandmore.com/sleep-better, and we'll get you your own copy of Sleep Better mailed out in the mail.
Well done. That's one that I should do a better job with. I get enough sleep, but I'm all over the map for bedtime, and it's more wake up time. So I go to bed pretty much at the same time, but mornings, I don't know. Sometimes it's early, sometimes it's later, and then I wonder why I feel tired. Right, Jeff?
Well, we had to drag him out of bed for this episode. Just
almost didn't make it.
That's right. All right.
Bring our guest back on.
Let's bring our guest back on. Hi, Kate. Hi, Risa. Welcome back.
Hi. Thank you.
What time do you ladies get up in the morning?
I get up at 20 to 5, and I'm at the gym at 5.
Yes.
Good for you.
She's the morning person.
I'm a morning person. Yep.
Yeah, I have 2 young girls, so I'm usually up between 6:30, but I'm not going to the gym at that time. So just trying to get everyone together and out the door.
Well, good for you for hitting the gym early. Are there many people there where you go at that time?
There are. When I'm getting there and I look at everyone, I go, we're all a bunch of sickos that were up at 5 o'clock waiting for them to open up. Yep.
Yeah, well, good.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, good for you.
It works.
So let's kind of jump right in. So who wants to take the first question?
I'll take the first question.
All right. So share with everybody watching who doesn't know. We had a lot of fans of Aaron's Acres, but for those that don't know or may learn listening to this later, how and why did Aaron's Acres begin?
So it started in 1998 by a group of parents who had children. Their children at that point were ages 5 to 9, and they couldn't find a camp program in Lancaster County that they felt was right for their kids. So I want you to picture a child who has a seizure disorder, or a child who has a feeding tube, a child who uses a wheelchair, a child who's 9 years old and still in diapers. A typical camp program is not going to be able to accommodate that child. So Aaron's Acres was founded by a group of parents who said, we want a camp experience. And that first summer, we started with 11 children, and it was a half-day program. But it was meeting a need that was clearly voiced by parents who were raising their kids who had disabilities.
So the effort focuses specifically on children and young adults with disability. What other types of disabilities you mentioned some? What other types do you serve?
So let me just clarify. So we started with 5 to 9-year-olds, and now we're up to 5 to 21-year-olds. And we have never turned away a child with any disability. We never want a parent to call and say, I'll tell you about my child, and then will you tell me if you're going to take him? We always say, we're going to take your child, but we just need to know what your child's needs are and really explore that and make sure that we can accommodate that child. So we have children who are diagnosed with autism that are very high functioning and can be independent in some skills, but then they need the help with communication and socialization. But we also accept children who have the disability where they need hand-over-hand assistance in everything. They're nonverbal, they use a wheelchair, and their cognitive ability is impaired. So again, we take everyone. And the way that we can take everyone is we have professional staff that have the experience of working with kids with disabilities. Usually special ed teachers are supervisory staff, but we also have nurses. The nurses really allow us to take that child who has a seizure disorder. So many parents will say, I'm sending my child to your camp, but I know my child has a seizure disorder, so I have to stay at camp. And we always say, no, we don't want to see your face. We want you to go and relax. And we can take care of it because we have that nurse. We also have a staff-to-child ratio of 1-on-1 or 1-to-2. So we have kids that run. And a parent says, you're outdoors. I am so nervous. My kid is going to run. And what happens? And we always say that person, the staff person, is going to get a great workout that day because they're going to be with that child. So we pair up the children based on their needs. Our program director does an intake with each new family to say, what does your child need? And then here's what we can do to accommodate that need. So the kids that come to us, we have kids with autism, Down syndrome, epilepsy, spina bifida, cerebral palsy, brittle bone disease. We've had a child on a respirator. Again, our thinking is we can take everyone because of the staff and because of the ratio.
Risa, because of that staff coverage that you have, that one-on-one or one-on-two, so to say, in the fact that parents can get a break and the child or young adult is also with somebody new, do you feel there's a different dynamic in the camp experience because of that, I'm going to say, positive separation?
Oh, clearly.
Is that a right way to put it? Positive separation? Sounds bad, yes. But
no, the separation, we're very aware that for parents, sometimes this is the only place that they're separated from their child except for school.
Right.
So for the parent, that's a really hard thing for them to just say, I'm going to leave my child. And for the child, some children, it takes a little while for them to transition. But because of that one-on-one, we can go slowly. We don't have to tell the group, okay, we got to all wait because Johnny's having a hard time. The group can go ahead and do the activity. And then the counselor can say to Johnny, let's go for a walk. Or the parents fill out an application and talk about what the child likes and what the child doesn't like. We had a buddy one year. Buddies are 14 to 17-year-old volunteers, and they're just there as positive role models. But he found out that his camper liked Ninja Turtles. He didn't know anything about Ninja Turtles. So the buddy did all this research and greeted him the first morning talking about Ninja Turtles. So we really can meet each child individually and go at that child's pace.
That's really great. One of our, she shared it with me privately on email, but she currently works for Lancaster newspaper. She said to say hello. I'll connect after the fact, but she had nothing but great experiences to share about Aaron's Acres and really enjoyed her time volunteering there, I think, as a buddy. Because she related those same age groups. So just to follow up on that, so do you feel that you see your campers get, do you see an elevated experience when they're able to go kind of on their own in a new experience, a new day at camp not that I'm trying to push mom and dad out, because it sounds like that, but I'm not. But do you see that that's a growth moment and opportunity for them? Because I think it's very cool if that's happening.
Yeah. Kate, do you want to tell the story about the girl on the horse?
Yeah. We had one young lady who is one of our older campers, but we, as part of our camp program, we take field trips. And this was a trip to Greystone Therapeutic Riding Stables. And she was really afraid. She was really scared to even get off the bus once we got to the stables and kind of go inside to where the horses were. She was just really nervous about the horses. And, just thinking about getting on the horse was really making her nervous. So it took her even a little while to get into the stables where the horses were. Our team, our staff was working kind of to help her feel more comfortable. They kind of got her to come inside and then eventually got her up, the ramp that you go up to mount the horse. They brought the horse over and they were able to get her up on the horse with the help of the Greystone team too. And they just took their time and slowly started the horse walking, and they had her count the steps that the horse was taking, and they started slow and kind of, got a little faster and went all the way around the stable, the circle, and got to the end. And we were taking her picture, and she had this big smile for the picture and said she wanted to go do it again. And then afterwards, she told her mom that she wanted to take riding lessons. So I think that is a perfect example of kind of that pushing beyond what our kids think that they can do or what they're used to doing. We offer a lot of new experiences for kids with disabilities, things that they don't typically have the chance to do. And so I think that independence and, that taking those steps to kind of get beyond fears or push limits is really something we offer our kids. So I think that, just like you said, it's so important, and it's so cool to see that.
Yeah, what are the types of camps? You mentioned some of the experiences. What are the types of camps that you offer and experiences that you offer?
Yeah, so like I mentioned, that's the trip to the horse stables is one thing we do with our campers. Over the summer, we offer 6 weeks of programming, 2-week sessions, and families can choose whether they want to do a half day or a full day program. And as part of the program, for some of the older kids, they have the chance to take part in our Acts of Kindness program. And so that offers them the chance to go out into the community to other nonprofits and other business locations and give back, which is something really cool. Often our kids are receiving help. So this is such a neat opportunity for them to be able to give back and help other people. We've heard from families that their kids just get so excited about, having that chance to help somebody else, to get up in the morning and say, hey, I'm going to camp today and I get to help somebody. It's just such a rewarding experience for them. So we have that piece of our program too during the summer. And then we do have a school year program, which we're in the midst of now. And that runs until May. And that's a monthly program. So the younger kids up to age 12, so ages 5 through 12, they meet at Millersville University once a month and do crafts and games and activities together, have pizza, that kind of thing. And then our older group, they go out into the community and get to take field trips. They go to Hershey Park and do a corn maze, go bowling, things like that. So it just offers them the opportunity to have those outings and have that social interaction. And then really through the course of COVID, we developed an online virtual program as well. So that was held back, in the summer of 2020 is when we kicked that off. And we were really just so thrilled to be able to adapt our programs in that way to meet our families where they were. A lot of our families really had trouble, through COVID. It was really difficult, obviously a stressful time for everyone, but for a family with a child with disabilities who often needs help 24/7, for them to be trying to juggle things at home with working from home, it was just a lot. So we were able to offer some programming and resources for our families online too. So we were really excited to be able to add that kind of piece to our programs. And we do have things for families too. We do have programs for parents. We give them a chance to just kind of de-stress and relax with like a yoga session or massage, something like that. We've offered over the course of the years, while their kids are at camp, they have the chance to come and do something for themselves and just have the chance to talk and connect, between themselves and share stories, share resources, ask questions of each other as fellow parents of kids with disabilities. And we offer educational sessions too for families on financial planning, resources on how to navigate the school system, things like that. So that's a huge piece of what we do too.
It's pretty incredible, all that you offer. So you touched on the fact that, in the summer of 2020, you still affected your efforts, your experiences, albeit virtually. I'm kind of thinking like once March, early April came around, you kind of had to figure that out pretty quick, right? Because I can't imagine that you just decided, okay, well, May 15th here. We're still kind of in the throes of this thing. What are we going to do? So I'm guessing you pretty much realized back in March, is that a fair, or pretty early on, that you had to do something different?
So in March, we realized that we did have to do something very different. And of course, at first we were really upset and we cried and were really sad. And then we just said, what I told the team was, take the rest of the week. It was a Wednesday and we decided that day that we were going to do it. I said, take the rest of the week, do whatever you need to do. You don't have to work. Just take care of yourself. And Monday morning, we got to get going. And Monday morning, we met as a team virtually and started planning. And we said, we've got to do this. Like Kate said, so many of our families were struggling. And we knew we had to do something, but we never did it. Just like, none of us did virtual programming. And whenever we came up with an idea, we said, we're going to give it a try. And our mantra was, at least we're trying something. And we were very, very pleased. We had about 50 kids on a screen. And for some of our kids to be on the screen, we thought it wouldn't work. And what was very funny was we're on the screen, and I was on the screen with the program director, and we see this boy doing all these arts and crafts activities. And I'm chatting with the program director, Elaine Burnett, and I said, he doesn't do the activities when he's at camp. What the heck, But, for him, it wasn't hot. He was sensitive to the heat, and there wasn't a lot of stimulation. But we're like cracking up because he used to give us a headache at camp. Like, come on, you got to do the craft, and he wouldn't want to do it. So it was neat because some kids did better. It was easier for them to participate. The other thing is, parents were participating with the kids. If we did a yoga or a Zumba class or exercise, the parents were doing it also, which was very cool. Because at camp, we do want the kids to have their own experience, and the parents don't get to see them. Even, my dream is to have a one-way mirror outside so the parents can see the kids doing the activities. But this way they could participate together. So it forced us to think outside the box. But it really ended up being, very positive for us, given the restrictions.
Yeah. Do you still have aspects of what you accomplished summer of 2020 in play today in some of the programming that you offer?
We are not doing any virtual programming right now. Down the road, we've talked about possibly doing some type of virtual programming and reaching groups where maybe outside of Lancaster County or outside of Pennsylvania. Unfortunately, across the country, there are places where people with disabilities, as they get older, the programs really become very limited. So, maybe we would explore that, as we grow.
We do have some of the recordings of some of the, the specials that we did with music and fitness, that kind of thing. We do have some of those recordings that, we shared out and just had available for families. And so those are still available for people to kind of just participate in if they'd like to have something extra to do. So we have those out there.
Thank you. Yeah.
So you mentioned some other resources around the state. Are there other resources like Aaron's Acres in Lancaster, other organizations that you coordinate with and collaborate with?
And we do have some partners that we work with to provide, like I just said, kind of for the music therapy piece and for our fitness piece. But, and there are some other organizations locally that provide services for people with disabilities, but we really feel like what makes us unique is kind of what Risa was talking about earlier, the fact that we have that 1-on-1 or 1-to-2 ratio of our staff to participant, that we can be there 1-on-1 with the kids and help them with whatever their needs are, and that we are very person-centered. We train our staff specifically to be working with, the child that they're assigned to work with, and work with the family to understand what the needs of the child are. So I think those things make us very different. And we really offer the opportunity for our staff members to gain experience in the fields of special education or occupational therapy, physical therapy. And I think that's unique too. We have kind of the professional supervisory staff, and then often the staff that are under them are students, undergraduate students who are studying in those areas. And then they're offered that chance to get that 1-on-1 time with the kids and get that hands-on experience, which is just so valuable. So I think that is kind of a unique piece of our program too.
So you had you'd shared a success story, a happy story of the young little girl that did the horseback riding. Is there Any other success stories you could share for those watching? I mean, maybe related to some of the photos that we've been showing, but whatever happy stories you've got, I'm sure our watchers would love to hear them.
Kate, do you want to tell about the two girls, and then I'll share a few?
Yeah, I think the one picture that was up, was that Risa? Was that them?
I think
the one picture that was up was them.
Yeah.
The two young girls that were sitting next to each other. Just wanted to share their story. They're friends that met through our program, and they've become best friends. And I wanted to share their story because our programs really offer the chance. Yeah, there they are. Our programs really offer the chance for kids to have, our kids with disabilities, to have the same experiences that kind of every other kid gets to have. But it's harder for them. It's harder for them to find that peer group, kids that are going through the same things that they're going through, that have the same experiences on a daily basis, and find those families that get it too. So these girls were able to have their first sleepover experience together. One of the moms got them matching shirts, and they've just been able to form this bond and have this kind of best friend experience that they just haven't been able to have before. And I think that's just so special. I know, having two girls of my own, I know the importance of that. And I know the importance of having those friendships. So I just think that's a really cool story to share.
Yeah, the other, I have two stories. One was there was a young boy who was verbal, but he rarely spoke. He would say one or two words, and he didn't like anyone holding his hand, including his parents. And mom drops him off at camp. It's his first summer, and the staff is coming back from their day of camp and bringing them to the parents on the second day. And the mom looks up and sees the staff person holding her child's hand, and they're talking and they're having a conversation. It's not just one word, back and forth. And the kid is enjoying having that hand held. And the mom said, "I never thought I would see my son interact that way and be so happy." And the other story, the parent said to me, during the time that my kid's at camp for 2 weeks, he's so happy, and he gets up in the morning. I don't fight with him. I don't tell him to brush his teeth. I don't tell him to get dressed, eat breakfast. He's so happy. And she said, but the rest of the year, he's miserable. And I remember hearing that, and it hit me, because I don't have children with disabilities. But if my kid was unhappy about anything, it affected my mental health that day, even if it was a tiny thing. And this parent said, for the rest of the year, my child's miserable, but at camp, he's happy, he feels accepted, and he feels loved. So it's really special when we feel like we are having that kind of an impact. I do have a little snippet that I wanted to share, if I can read a little bit, if you'll excuse me to read that. So a parent sends us this email on the last day of camp. We knew the parent really liked the camp. The kid loved the camp. We loved the family. And the mom writes in the subject line, "Your staff don't get it." So before my program director and I read beyond that, we were both like ready to throw up, because we were like, oh my God, our staff don't get it. What are we talking about? So she wrote, "They don't understand how they affect the self-esteem of a bubbly, outgoing 16-year-old girl who yearns to play with other kids her age." But not many other girls she knows likes to sit down to every episode of Disney and Nick Jr. shows. So when she comes to camp and other kids are watching those episodes on their iPads or singing the songs, she feels as though she belongs. And when your buddies and counselors treat her as though they've been her friend for all their lives, it puts a bounce in her step that carries her for the entire summer. They don't understand that she sees and hears other kids her age playing and swimming together at our local pool and wants desperately to join them. So she swims over and says hi. Usually she's greeted with a very awkward, "Oh, hi," and then they swim or back away from her, or she just gets laughed at after they swim away. So the buddies and counselors who not only swim with her, but let her climb on their shoulders, even if she has about 60 pounds on them, make more than her day. They don't understand that when parents see the wave of yellow, and the wave of yellow is all our staff wear yellow t-shirts, and when parents see the wave of yellow coming toward them at the beginning and the end of the day, they can know there truly is a reason to believe in angels. Thank you for what you do. So when we read the email, after we realized it was a positive and she was just teasing us about our staff don't get it, I went over to the mom and I said, "You made everybody at staff," because then I read it to the staff. Elaine, our program director, read it. And we said that you made everybody with the staff cry and your child can't come to camp anymore, and we joked. But those kind of things. And again, I think of like me raising my kids. I took so much for granted. And for these parents will say, your staff's happy to see my kid. I can't imagine dropping my child off at any program and feeling that they're not happy to see my kid. So, and our staff really is what makes the program. This is, they give 200%. Yes, they get paid, but they're not going to be millionaires with this pay. And they just want to make sure that every kid has a successful, positive experience over the summer.
That's an amazing testimonial.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
Listening to it as you read it, the reason why Ben and I, why we do this show is to really introduce what you just shared, and hopefully everybody listening and watching can empathize and understand that the more connection we have here in our community, the more we can take our treasure, our talents, and our time to help our neighbor in whatever way that might be, even if it's small. It's important. And what you just shared is very cool. The video that we had playing, was there sound there that we wanted to share and hear?
They're just singing some camp songs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you want us to play that, or I'm kind of catching our producer Chris out of left field. I'm not sure if we're good for that, but I don't mind sharing it.
What I would like to share, though, if it's okay with you, is our plans for the future. So
absolutely.
So right now we serve, like I said, 5 to 21. But we get very close with our families, and then the families say, "What happens when my child turns 22?" And we've had to say, our camp ends and our school year program ends. And I remember one summer there was a young man who was in a wheelchair, and it was his last day, and he had been coming for at least 13 years. And he was nonverbal, but understood everything. And his mom is talking to the staff, and she said, "I can't believe today is the last day." So she started crying, and the staff started crying. And the young man, puts his hands on the arm of the wheelchair, like, "I'm not moving this wheelchair," and letting us know he didn't want to leave. And that really hit our staff. And as we talked to parents, we heard that one parent said to us, and this is painful, she said, "My kid graduates from high school, and for children who have disabilities, they can go through 21. But she said the bus stops coming and families fall off the cliff. And social programs, recreational programs for young adults are not as common. Their socialization with each other, their peers, they form all these relationships. It doesn't continue. So our dream is that we are looking to have a permanent home. Right now, we rent an office space at Greenfield. We have storage in another location. Our camp this coming summer is going to be at New Holland Community Pool and Park. We want to have our own place. And our plan is that we will expand to age 30 and create meaningful programs during the day, during the week for young adults 22 and 30, and continue to expand the programs for the 5 to 21. Parents will say, "My young adult is home and doesn't have a purpose." And again, I think about my own kids. They're older now and they do have a purpose. And for a young person who's interacting and in school and having friends and then has nothing, that's really hard. So what we want to do is have ongoing classes, like what Kate mentioned, the Acts of Kindness program, to do some more community service projects with this group. We would like to have a social enterprise where possibly a bakery or some kind of a cafe, and have our young people run that. We want to have a farm area so that we can grow vegetables, herbs, and flowers, and have these young people be part of every part of that process. We hope to have an inclusive community so that we can have other organizations join us for collaborative opportunities. We really want to make sure that people of all abilities and disabilities have purposeful lives. And there's no question that people with disabilities can have purposeful lives. Maybe we have to be a little creative, and maybe we have to just think outside the box. But our plan is to do this. So we are looking for property. And we're hoping that this year we will be kicking off a capital campaign.
That is just tremendous. So, I mean, it sounds to me like you need something centrally located, but yet also with some space for the gardening aspect of things that you shared. Probably would have to work through the zoning and stuff, but again, if you're watching this, please put this episode in the back of your brain and like kind of move it to the middle. Like don't
front.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, seriously, this is where your connections listening really can make things happen. And you can reach out to Ben and I. We can make a connection. You can reach out, obviously, to Aaron's Acres directly. But this is, we just made a connection last week with volunteers to what Lancaster City Alliance is doing. But this is where, if you're a commercial real estate broker and somebody's got a parcel of land that they've been thinking about splitting off, this is how it comes to be. This is why we do this show. And it would just like send me to the moon, and I know Ben as well, if like we had a little itty bitty part of having somebody make a connection, because that's all we hope for with this show.
And just to put in a little plug, it doesn't just have to be a parcel of land. If it's a building, if you think of a school or a church, we're looking for about 14 to 16,000 square feet and around 4 to 6 acres. But if there's an already existing building with land, we are very much open to that.
Very good. It sounds like you've put a lot of intentional thought behind it to this point. Obviously, if you're coming out with a capital raise campaign, you would have thought of that. So that's very good, very smart. Boy, I wish you nothing but success with that. That sounds just amazing. I know I've seen it. Our neighbor where we live, their son has autism. I know they've really had to advocate hard, which I think is the most diplomatic way to say they've had to get involved with the legalities with our local school district for their child, which is unfortunately a reality for most families. Is that fair?
Yes. Parents have said to us, it's harder sometimes to deal with negotiating the system in the community and, besides raising a child who has some challenges. Yeah. It's figuring out the system and how to get the services and knowing what services are out there.
Yeah. And I know talking with them, they've kind of touched on the same thing, like, because I've asked, well, what happens with your son when he's done with high school? And they say, well, that's on us to figure that out. And it's going to be a combination of things. So it's really great that you're looking not only to bolster for the younger subset, but for that set where there is a big need, because I'm sure that's going to be a massive hole to fill, but it looks like you got it. You got a good idea of what you want to do, which is just fantastic. Really is.
Well, yeah, and thank you. And thank you for talking about the importance of connections in the community. We just have been around for about 23, almost 24 years, and we've certainly seen that is really the case. We've only been able to provide, the services that we're able to provide because of the support of our community and because of all the connections and relationships that we have. So I think what you said is just so true that, it is all about helping each other and the connections that we share where we live. So we just wanted to say thank you while we're here to everyone that has supported us, and we're just so grateful.
Yeah.
Talking about that support, if our listeners wanted to financially help or support, or even provide their time, maybe being a buddy or a volunteer with Aaron's Acres, what opportunities do they have? Where can they go to donate, and how can they help?
Yeah, so really all the information pretty much is on our website, so aaronsacres.org, which I know you guys have been sharing throughout the show, so that's awesome. Yes, definitely. We have our applications are open for our summer camp program if anyone is interested in that for their child, or if they'd like to work with us as a staff person or a buddy, volunteer, or a nurse. And we also have our wish list up there on the website if anyone is interested in helping with a donation of items, supplies. We would love that. And of course, if they are interested in donating financially, there's a link also there to do that. And, we have lots of things coming up. We have a golf outing in May 16th, I believe. It's a Monday out at Bent Creek. So there are sponsorship opportunities and golf golfer opportunities and volunteer opportunities with that. And we have things that come up through the year too. So we have a spot to sign up for our newsletter if people would like to hear from us and be able to connect in the future and hear what we're up to. There's a spot for that too on the website. So yeah, I would say just kind of check us out on there. And Risa and I, our information's up there too, and we'd love to hear from anyone.
As our producer was scrolling the website, one thing that you could do right now, if you're watching this at work, hopefully you're doing some work too, but I get it. No judgment. Or later tonight, go to your computer, and if you haven't done this already with your Amazon account, hit up Aaron's Acres. It looks like you're a Smile participant. So Amazon will donate money from your purchases. You just follow the link there on their site. So if you're not aware, this is a great way to give back without even really thinking about it. They'll take a percentage of whatever you buy through your Amazon account and donate it to Aaron's Acres. So that's one of those things you can literally set and forget it. And just as long as you remember to bookmark it in whatever devices you go to, it'll work each and every time. So that's one of the easiest ways that you can help, which everybody could if you're not already using that function or that ability to give back. Just as we wrap up, I'm sure the one thing that your volunteers get, especially your teaching type volunteers, your occupational therapist type volunteers, would it be fair to say they love the fact that it's one-on-one or one-on-two, as opposed to, if you're teaching in a classroom environment, it's probably way more than that. So is that fair? Like they really enjoy that personal, hyper-personal connection?
They do. And I think there are several positives. One is they don't feel overwhelmed, especially for an undergrad student who's just going into this field. When they come to orientation, and we have a pretty intense orientation, you could see that they're feeling very anxious in the beginning, and I get it. But we're telling them you don't have to manage everybody. You have a group leader who's a professional who's going to supervise and doesn't have a kid assigned to them. And they're going to help you as you manage this child. So it really gives them the time where they could just focus on one kid without being anxious and overwhelmed. But what we do is the kids stay in the same group for the 2-week session. But the second week, we rotate the kids and the staff within the group. And we do that because we want the kids to learn to socialize with more than just one person. Because in the real world, we're not going to always be with the same person, and we need to be able to transition without causing a lot of challenging, behavior. But also for the staff person, the person who's learning, they might work with a child who's using a wheelchair the first week, but then the second week might have a child who's very independent. So it does give them that experience, and again, with that supervision on top of, at all times they have that supervision. One of our biggest compliments at the end of the year, staff always says, "I never felt alone. I always felt supported." But I do want to say the counselors and the group leaders, the nurses, the supervisory staff are all paid. The only ones that are not paid are the buddies, 14 to 17. So the undergrad student is getting the hands-on experience, but they're also getting paid.
Okay. That's great. And, so the buddy program, that's pretty much open to teenagers that would like to volunteer? 14
to 17. And they're not expected to deal with behavior issues, and they're not expected to deal with bathrooming issues. They really are there just to be that positive role model. And it's been fascinating over the years. Many of our buddies have then reached out to us and said, "I'm going to college and I need a letter of reference because I'm thinking of going into special ed or social work or occupational therapy." We've had supervisors who started out with us in high school in the Anchor Club at Hempfield High School. And then became, went up a counselor, group leader, and now she was an assistant site supervisor, and then one of our site supervisors.
Very good. Very good. Well, there you heard it. So if you have a teenager that can share some of their compassion, their empathy, their heart, their spirit with other kids that are not quite as capable as they are, but still have capabilities to shine a light in this world, have your kid come out and spend time with Aaron's Acres for sure. I'm positive they will grow in a way that you never imagined just by doing it.
Right.
And you will too, probably as a parent, because they'll come home and share stories with you. And
100%. Yeah.
They quickly find the similarities that they have, which is really cool. And just to put it out there, we do have tours. We have visits to camp in the summer. So please reach out to us if you'd like to come visit us and see what we're all about. Love to have anyone.
Okay. Very good. Ladies, thank you so much. Thank you. We're going to make the call for last chance to win our $25 gift card. So throw your comments in before we fire up the prize later. Risa, Kate, we do something here called the Connection Cocktail. So I had sent you the questions in advance. This one, especially for our charities, I'm kind of finding that some of them put you in a spot a little way, and you may also shamelessly plug your own stuff. So don't be afraid. All right.
Okay.
So as we get into the Connection Cocktail, I'll lead off. On that note, this is where you can shamelessly plug away the annual event that you like to go to.
I love going to the Logs Park Art Festival on Labor Day weekend.
I love the Extra Give. I mean, I know it's kind of an online event, but it used to have a lot of celebrations in person downtown. And I just thought it was so cool to, be down there. And we do our own celebrations now when it's been more virtual, but it's just such a cool community day to see everyone come together to support nonprofits in Lancaster.
Yeah, numerous people have mentioned that as their favorite event in Lancaster.
Oh.
Well, I'm going to plug it for you. Your golf outing in May at Bent Creek. When is that again?
Okay.
May 16th.
It's May 16th.
May 16th. So that's the event to go to.
All right.
Yes,
more details on their website.
Right.
Yes.
All right. So, Kate, you can go first on this one. Really important question. Turkey Hill, Wawa, or Sheetz?
So I'm kind of torn. I have to go Wawa because I used to live in East Pete, right close by, and I would be there a lot. But now there's a new Sheetz near where I live now, so I don't know. But I'll go Wawa.
So that's fair. So like you convenience is true convenience. You maybe not have affiliation with any as long as they're close by, but Wawa is preferred. Okay, Risa.
Turkey Hill and convenience. I think it's just convenience in Lancaster. Yeah.
Turkey Hill. There you go.
Yep.
There was a fourth option on there as Rudders, which I've become, as I've been doing more traveling, I hit the Rudders up in York on the way down to the airport right off of 83. And their egg rolls are pretty good. Although I'm going to blaspheme in the name of egg roll because the egg roll lady around these parts is king or queen, I should say. Yes.
Yep.
So, last question. What part of Lancaster do you impart on family or friends when they come into town?
Downtown Lidditz or Hershey.
Nice. Very good.
Yeah, I just had to say downtown Lancaster. I mean, Central Market, all the great shops and restaurants. I think downtown's we've got a great downtown here in Lancaster.
Yeah, no question.
Yep. I was actually, when I was in Texas, people said, well, what's Lancaster like? And I said, it's actually kind of like a miniature Austin. We've got a food scene, we've got a culture scene, we've got a music scene, a lot of art, just a lot of vibrance, and it really kind of feels the same. So I would agree. So, ladies, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for all the great work that you do at Aaron's Acres. We're happy to have been able to shine a light on it. And thank you for your time in joining us today. Really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks so
for
much.
having us.
Yep, you're welcome. And just as we wrap up, if you want to be a guest on our show, just go to lancasterconnects.com/guest. We'll get you on, highlight what you're doing in your business. If you're a business guest, we're just going to ask that you're giving back to Lancaster through your business. And if you're a charity, we'd certainly love to highlight you. Just go to that form, lancasterconnects.com/guest. We'll get you on the show. And we put that out in a bunch of different places on YouTube, Facebook, on our channels, on your channel. We will have you on and give you a great highlight for what you're doing here in town. All right. That was this week's episode. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.